The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has remanded Faisal Maina at the Police Special Tactical Squad. Faisal Maina, who is the son of the former chairman of the Pension Reforms Task Team, Abdul Rashid Maina, was arraigned on Friday by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC. He pleaded not guilty, though, to 3 counts bordering on money laundering and other offences. Is the government getting it right in its fight against corruption? What if corruption fights back again? What then? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media networks, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channels, where you can follow us right now, on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook as well. We've got all our platforms on social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and tweet it hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with victims of natural disasters, especially floods, which have ravaged some parts of the country and some states in particular, the southwest and the southeastern parts of the country. What does this mean to the development of the country? While this phenomenon is not peculiar to Nigeria, as evident in other parts of the world, President Buhari assures that the occurrence attributable to parts of climate change is attracting his attention and those of other world leaders, as evidenced by a series of meetings, including the recent United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York. With unprecedented levels of rains, what more can be done to protect people's lives and property? What if there comes a need to evacuate residents in an emergency? Can the government and the states handle it? Another illegal rehabilitation center has been uncovered by the Kwara State Police Command in Ilorin, the state capital, on Friday, with 108 inmates living in inhuman conditions. 103 of them are males, 5 are females, several of whom have been chained. Also on Tuesday, the NSCDC uncovered 2 illegal Islamic rehabilitation centers in Kaduna State. Laman Chi'ia and Marmara rehabilitation centers were both found in Zaria. Could there be more in Kaduna State, a state that seems to be plagued with kidnappings, banditry, and now detention centers in recent times? Can Governor El Rufai handle these crimes against humanity alone as he leads 56 members of the APC to Kogi State for the November 16 elections? Also scheduled by INEC, our elections in Bayelsa. We'll focus on that in just a moment. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Hello everyone, welcome to State of the Nation. I am Gimba Umar. The national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adam Soshomale, has said that the party will correct all the wrongs committed by the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in Bayelsa, if it wins, of course, the governorship elections in the state. In his words, the APC government under David Leon will work assiduously to provide security, employment and empowerment of all Bayelsa people. While that may seem a political statement to many, is the APC in pole position to win the elections. Joining me from our Abuja studios is Kingdom Blessing, a chieftain of the APC in Bayelsa State. He's also a lawyer. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us on State of the Nation. Also with him is Bishop Amakiri, the chairman of Young Progressives Party, the PYPP. He joins us as well. We'll also be having Daniel Alabrah, a member of the PDP from Bayelsa State. He's going to join us by Skype, and there you can see him. I want to thank you so much indeed. Let me start with you in Bayelsa State, Mr. Alabrah. How prepared is your party, the PDP, for these elections?
Well, thank you very much, Jimba, for having me on this program. The PDP is very ready. You know, it's the ruling party in the state. It's the party that has ruled Bayelsa since 1999. And it has won every election in Bayelsa since Nigeria returned to democracy. So the PDP is ready for the election. We're only waiting on INEC to ensure that the process runs very well, runs as expected. So the PDP is ready.
So let's pry some more about your party. Your party, the flag bearer, Chief Doye Diri, was largely favored to become governor by Dixon. That's the incumbent governor. Do you think Bayelsans support that move and the outcomes that emerged from the primaries?
Well, it was a party primary, and the fact that Senator Doye Diri meant that he was the popular choice. So members of the party, particularly the delegates, voted for Doye Diri, and he is the choice of the party.
How much of an influence would you say the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, has in Bayelsa?
The former president is, he was president of the whole of Nigeria, and he's a respected citizen of this country. Bayelsans respect him a lot. He was a flag bearer of the PDP in the presidential election. So, his influence is very strong. And we believe that because PDP produced President, that's a very strong force in our favor going ahead into the election.
But there are reports, I'm sorry, let me still put you on the spotlight. There are reports that Mr. Jonathan was not consulted by Mr. Dixon, the incumbent governor, over the choice of Mr. Diri as the man to succeed him as governor, and that the former president and his supporters felt very elated. They felt being let down by Governor Dixon. Is that the case?
I do not think so, because I think that is just in the realm of speculation. If you observe the primaries of the PDP, the former president was part of that election. He voted during the primaries. So I do not know where anybody will say that the former president was not involved in the process. He was part of the process. He was consulted. Even the eventual winner of the primary, Senator visited him and got his blessings before he went into the election. So President Jonathan had always been in the picture. It's just that, because he's a man that doesn't talk so much, a lot of people speculate about where he stands on issues like this. So
okay, I'll come back to you on some more pressing issues concerning that. But let me get back to our Abuja studios where Mr. Blessing is with us of the APC. Mr. Blessing, change for the better, they say, is always appealing, as, of course, we're expecting that will happen also for these elections that are taking place on November the 16th. But by chance, I'm wondering, though, how your party, the APC, can be in position to win this election, having operated from Abuja instead. That's what the people of Bayelsa state. They say that your party cannot have an influence because your party has been operated, the APC, your party has been operated from Abuja. Is that the case?
Thank you very much, Gimba, for your question. But I want to correct an impression before I respond to your question. Come November 16, 2019, when the APC wins, the narrative will change, not if. I can guarantee you that for free, because APC is going to take the day. PDP is still under the illusion and the euphoria of the past 20 years of governing the affairs of Bayelsa State. Unfortunately, they've not come to the realization that the narrative has changed. Since the emergence of David Lyon, there has been palpable fear in their camp. So one thing I know for sure is that the election will be conducted at unit level in Bayelsa State and not in Abuja. Therefore, whatever impression they have that APC is not on ground, come November 16, the result will speak for itself. So I will not be here to join issues as regards whether the party is operating from Abuja or not. But one thing I know for sure is that if you come on ground, you will see. Today, the campaigns and the rallies across the length and breadth of Bayelsa State is being done by the locals. And for each local government, each community that APC go for their campaigns, they don't rent visiting crowds. They make sure that we manage the security situation so that people don't get overcrowded. So the crowd you see are community-based crowd within the particular community and its environs. So the narrative is changing, but unfortunately, PDP is still under the illusion that they've ruled Bayelsa State for 20 years, rightly so, but they don't understand that the game has changed, because since the emergence of David Lyon, there is a new narrative that will emerge come November 16. All we seek is the security agencies should put their acts together and protect us, and then protect the state and the electoral process, so that we can have the results announced freely. And INEC should put our acts together as well, to ensure that the process is transparent enough
but
for people to see the credibility
let me
of the
get
process.
Bishop Amakiri to also wade into this, just so that we're able to manage the time properly. It is largely believed, Bishop Amakiri, at least Bayelsans do, that the two flag bearers for the two political gladiators, the PDP and the APC, are stooges of their political masters. Are they wrong in their assertion?
Thank you, Gimba Umar. First, let me start by saying that the political consciousness today in the minds of Nigerians is growing every day, day by day. And the truth of the matter is that we have seen the right and the left. And the question we need to ask is, where has this right and left, where have they taken us to for the past 20 years that we've been practicing democracy? When people talk about PDP and APC, and I continue to wonder, what is the difference between these two parties, PDP and APC? So the truth of the matter is that, and like I said earlier, that the political consciousness is growing every day, and for that reason, there is a political evolution at the moment going on, where young people, men and women, are waking up from their slumber, believing that there is need for a paradigm shift, that the time has really come for this actual paradigm shift that we are yearning in our country. And when we talk about leadership or governance, it is there. The records are there. Where have these people, what is the performance that we can say today that these people have performed? Is it the kind of roads we are seeing, or healthcare? So many other things that you can mention, that in this 21st century, we will be saying that these two parties have, taken us to, utopia? No. And the truth of the matter is, it is time we shatter the downward spiral to nowhere. And let's stop deceiving ourselves with these rhetorics of PDP and APC.
Bishop Amakiri, if I may just jump in, my apologies, if I may just jump in. Do you have a candidate running for the elections in Bayelsa?
Of course. As I speak to you today, we're in the, our matter is in the court. We have a candidate, a very vibrant one for that matter, in the person of Dr. Franklin Bray, a well-experienced man. And of course, although we have some pockets of issues with INEC, challenging the credibility of that candidacy. And we're saying that by the grace of God, we have gone to the appropriate quarter to seek redress on that matter. Frank, you will see what will happen come November 16. I am very optimistic, and I can tell you this, take this to the bank. There's going to be a shocker, political shocker in Bayelsa and Kogi State come November 16.
Okay. Let me take you to Alabrah in Bayelsa State, where he is joining us via Skype. Alabrah, a lot of people believe that your party, the PDP, as it stands now, may just clinch this, but there are concerns on the kinds of development that you've handled since inception. You did say that your party has been, the PDP has been in charge of Bayelsa State ever since we started democracy, came back to this country in 1999. What assurances are there for you that this time around, with Bayelsa State, all these years, infrastructure really bad, one road, one major road running through the back and front of the party of your state, should Bayelsans trust you enough to give you their mandate again?
Yes, Bayelsans should trust the PDP to give the party's mandate again, because the PDP has done well in Bayelsa State. Regardless of what anybody will say, the PDP has ensured that the state is stable. The PDP has ensured that development is taking place in leaps and bounds. It's possible, and I say this all the time, that Bayelsa is not where it is supposed to be yet, but Bayelsa is not where it used to be. Development is block upon block. It's a process, and it takes time. Bayelsa is a very young state, created in just 1996. So, as it is, Bayelsa is 23 years old. So, often when people want to compare or talk about Bayelsa, they compare us with even the nearest states around us that are far older than us. For instance, Rivers State was created in 1967. So, Bayelsa is still a young state. And people will expect that, yes, we should have done better
Okay, my apologies. I really have to go on a very quick break now. When I come back, I'll still ask you about more developments in Bayelsa, since your party is the party in power there, and especially when we hear reports of decamping from your party. Join us again. Welcome back to State of the Nation. Mr. Alabrah, there are reports saying that members of the PDP, including chieftains, are decamping from your party. Does the PDP stand a chance? Bearing in mind that the election on the 16th, this may in many ways challenge the PDP, such that what you thought that you will come through with in these elections might just cut a little bit short.
Okay, yeah, Jimba, I do not really agree that the defections, will affect the PDP, and I have my reasons for saying so. If you follow politics in Nigeria, you will understand. You will know that during election seasons like this, you see these kind of things happening. It is normal with the political season, especially election seasons like this. But importantly for me is the fact that people are crossing from both sides of, especially the major political parties. For instance, those who defected, some of them are even returning to the party. For instance, the commissioner for mineral resources, who left only last week, a few days later, he has returned to the party. But importantly, let me say this, and it's very important. Politicians defect, but the electorate, the voters do not defect. The Bayelsa electorate know the party that has served them all these years. So for me, I do not see the defections as a threat to the victory that I think Senator Dorejili will get on November 16th.
Mr. Blessing, in our Abuja studios, do you see that as a plus for your party now that we have some, including chieftains of the PDP, that are decamping?
Gimba, as you well know, nobody jumps from a lifeboat to a sinking boat. So if you see people traversing from one political party to another, you know that they are going for a lifeline. So they've understood the game. They are smart enough to know that PDP and the restoration government is sinking in Bayelsa State. Hence, they are shifting grounds and jumping into the lifeboat that is changing the narrative of the political landscape of Bayelsa State. You see, Bayelsa State has been governed by PDP since the emergence of democracy, and we've had a fair share of good and bad governance. You can't have it all, no doubt, but we've been very unfortunate. And this government, this restoration government particularly, has been a scam. It's been a scam, and the people now have woken up to be alive to their responsibility. Those who are defecting are just adding to what we already have. Because, in fact, let me put it across that David Lyon cuts across party line. And I want to seize the opportunity to also crave the indulgence of my friend here, Bishop, to impress it on their candidate they said they have to join forces with the PDP, the APC, because the APC is going to emerge. And if they have a blueprint that we can use, we will look at it together and see how we can adopt it. Because what we need is good governance for the benefit of Bayelsans. If you've governed well, you have no reason to fear. Why the fear is because there's a lot of scam that has been discovered, and they want to cover their tracks perpetually. But unfortunately, there is that resistance by the people. It is not even the APC, that is the people.
When you say, my apologies to just butt in, But you have mentioned scam twice, and you say the PDP government is a scam. What do you mean by that?
You see, government is about the people. And when you choose to govern by a few for the few, it means that whatever you are meting out to the people becomes a scam. For instance, for 7 years plus, the restoration government says they are dualizing the only road we have in the state. Gimba, you can go to Bayelsa and look at things for yourself. Does it look like a state capital or a state in itself at all? Very recently, they brought a seaplane and said that we're going to start ferrying people from the Hosbo Lake to Lagos. That's a scam. Look at the airport project. They said they spent so much money, they came, commissioned it with fanfare, but not one single aircraft has landed there since after the commission. It's a scam. And then when you talk about PDP has tried for Bayelsa State, look at the volume of money that have come into the state in the past 7 years. And look at the development that we have in this. It's a scam. It's clearly a scam.
Okay, let me give Mr. Alabrah, Daniel Alabrah, a chance to respond to these allegations of the scam nature that you're referring to. Mr. Alabrah, is this a scam? I'm talking to Mr. Alabrah in Bayelsa. Oh my goodness, okay, we don't have that connection with him. As soon as we do, we'll try to re-establish and ask him that question being thrown that the PDP government right now in Bayelsa State is a scam. But let me come back to you, Mr. Amakiri. Pertaining your own state, your own party, the YPP, you've had some really difficult times. As a matter of fact, Kingsley Moghalu, who was a presidential aspirant and candidate, has already decamped from your party. As a matter of fact, he left. Can you tell us more about that? What happened?
Let me correct your. I do not think he decamped to another party. To the best of my knowledge up to now, I've not had any party. Maybe you might use the word he resigned, and there was a cogent reason why he told us he resigned, even from the letter he sent to the party. And Mr. Gimba, I do not political platforms are not religion-driven based. And even religion, people who practice Christianity or Islam, I am a Christian, a full-blooded Christian, but I believe also in Islam. And I can tell you today that there are people who have changed from Christianity to Islam. Some also have changed from Islam to Christianity. And still, heaven did not fall. So Kingsley Moghalu, with due respect, a gentleman, a man whom actually came
I want to beg your patience. I want to appeal to your patience because I really need to ask Mr. Alabrah these very questions, the allegations that were thrown by Mr. Blessing in our Abuja studios with you. Mr. Alabrah, Mr. Blessing called your party a scam party. And he did mention it twice, that the PDP, and mentioned some projects that he believes that they are scam. Could you respond to those allegations that he has pushed forward?
I knew the project he talked about because I didn't hear him at all. Maybe you need to mention the project because I didn't hear him.
He talked about the major road that passes through Bayelsa as a road in sham. He did mention some projects that were executed by the state government, which he also says that were incomplete, and he calls that as a sham. Also, he mentioned the airports he said that there was so much funfair about it, but not one single plane has landed in that airport. Can you respond to those?
I think Mr. Blessing doesn't live in Bayelsa. If he lives in Bayelsa, I wonder how he gets into the state capital if he says there's no road. Really, there are two major roads. There are two major roads into Bayelsa. You have the Gema-Yenagua Road and the Isaac-Boro Road that is almost completed. It's that this government dualized that road. That's a major entry into the state. And there is nothing wrong with these roads. One of the roads is under construction. It's yet to be finished. Isaac-Boro Road is a federal government road. It's not a state road. and that road is in order. There's nothing wrong with the road. All the way from Njama down to the end.
All right. So your submission to that those are not scam projects at all. But I must thank you so much indeed. We've quite run out of time. Daniel Alabrah, member of the PDP, Bishop Amakiri in our Abuja studios, as well as Kingdom Blessing, the chieftain of the APC from Bayelsa State. Many thanks indeed, gentlemen, for talking to us on State of the Nation, and to you for being a part of it. Many thanks indeed for watching. I am Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation.